So there are people out there that say they let go, but have they really been letting go? I see a lot of people on the internet. I don't really know if they truly have letting go. But I've done the work, and I've spent hours focusing on the emotional skill, focusing on letting go and what it truly means. What does letting go truly mean? Today I will go deep in how it changed my life and how it can change yours. Sticking around to the end of the video where I will exactly explain what it did for me. So first of all, what is letting go? Do we just need to let go of everything? Do we need to let go of material stuff? Do we need to let go of everything? Right? Should I just walk around naked? Just let go of all clothes, let go of all stuff? No. So letting go, what does that really mean? What does letting go really mean? And when we look at the emotional skill, what letting go means is letting go of negative emotions. That is what letting go means. So let this sink in. That it's not about being hippie. It's not about letting loose, doing whatever you want, and that's happiness, that's letting go. That is giving in to your addictions rather than that it's truly letting go. Because we have letting go towards your addictions, what is just giving in, and we have letting go towards a higher vibration, so that we let go of the baggage and become more high vibration. There's a difference between the two. And it's very important to understand the difference between surrendering yourself towards your addictions and surrendering yourself towards life, God, consciousness. If you look at the emotional scale from, you have pride, and then you have like anger, fear, shame, etc. So when you see, when someone gets addicted, what happens? They surrender. The same surrender that people do towards higher vibrations, they do to a lower vibration. So they surrender, and then they become angry, and then they become ashamed, and they become guilty, and then they feel shameful, and then they're in a shame cycle. So that would be the opposite of letting go. So even though it's the same thing, even though it's the same surrendering, it's surrendering to your addictions. So first of all, get clear on who you're surrendering to. You're always surrendering to something. Maybe the opinions of others, maybe towards your addictions, your habits, your negative patterns. That is not what surrendering means. That's not what letting go means. And I think this is something I see a lot, where people say, I just let go. And I'm like, don't let go. Right now would be the worst time to let go, because when you say let go, I know where this is going. This is going directly towards your addiction. This is going directly towards indulging in your addiction and just, I'm free because I'm addicted. You're not. What letting go truly is actually something more like Christianity. Christianity is almost more letting go than I see with most people that let go. Because what does Christianity do? Christianity says surrender to God. Now, I know that many Christians believe there's a man in the cloud, and whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. But God, for me, is the universe, its entirety, meaning everything is God to me. So everything is God to me. So I surrender to that higher power. That is letting go. What you will see is that most people would say surrendering is more to just let myself be and to just be my imperfect self. What is true to some extent, like authenticity is important, but it doesn't necessarily lead towards healing. Because if you let yourself be, most of you just let yourself be in your toxic patterns. But if you're surrendering to God, like in Christianity, what happens where they put up their hands and they say, lean in towards God and surrender yourself. That is actually letting go. Okay? So for most of you that are watching letting go videos, I would say actually go watch some Christian videos. I'm not a Christian myself, but I know for some of you, this actually will help you. This will actually help you. I'm not even a Christian myself, and I'm advising you to watch Christian videos. Okay? There's actually a beautiful song, Surrender, I think it's named by, I don't know, some Christian group. And they say, lean in towards God. Surrender yourself towards God. Let go. And have faith in God. This sounds so religious when I'm saying these things, but for me, they're so not religious. They're not religious at all. What is religious is believing in hell, believing in a God upon the clouds, or a little devil with a fork. That feels religious to me, right? But when I'm talking about God, the complete universe, consciousness, God is consciousness. So if I'm talking about surrendering to consciousness, that is letting go. That is what letting go truly is. Because what I do is I let go of myself. I let go of my patterns. I let go of my fears, my worries, my shame, my anger, my frustration, and I give it all to God. I give it all to consciousness. I surrender all my habits, all my patterns, all my compulsive behaviors, all of it, I surrender to God. And if you're really brave, surrender your finances to God. That's what I did. I said, God, I surrender my finances to you. Now, I trust me, when you do this, most of you be like, oh, right? Surrendering my finance to God. That sounds like some cult thing to say or something. No, I'm saying to yourself, surrender yourself, your ego, your patterns, everything to God. I'm not saying surrender to me. No. Surrender to God, the universe, consciousness. What you will see that happens is that when you take this kind of Christian approach, compared to surrendering to your addictions and just letting yourself be and do all kinds of stupid stuff, compulsive stuff, instead of letting yourself be in that sense, now you're letting go. You're truly letting go. Okay? And this also means in your relationships. So letting go the patterns in your relationships towards God, letting go of your finances towards God, letting go towards your health towards God. Let everything be handled by consciousness. Doesn't mean you don't take any responsibility at all, or you never think and you're just thinking, I just surrender everything and I do whatever. It just means you're no longer so much moving from ego You're more moving from a higher place. You're having more faith in the higher power, what is God. And as much as I can say, you are God, because it's true, you are God. Also, you have to understand that you don't have control over the world. Okay? You don't have the power to all of a sudden move objects and walk on water, right? And even if that will be possible, it would only be possible because you surrender to God. Okay? So you never do it. So surrendering to God makes you have faith in consciousness, have a faith in His higher power. And that's why letting go is truly faith. It's not letting yourself be, it's faith. Faith is letting go. Having faith in life, having faith in the universe, having faith in higher power, consciousness. Having faith, that is what it means to surrender. That is what it means to let go. And that's when you truly become your authentic self, where you truly become authentic, true, your real, true, authentic self. You get into your full power. Not by surrendering to your addictions, not by surrendering to your lower emotions, by surrendering to the higher power, you find strength, you find power, you find love, you find joy. And to this day, every day, I surrender everything to God. I'm saying all my desires, all my wants, everything. Before I go to sleep, I say, surrender to you. I surrender to you, God. I surrender everything to you. Meaning, I let go everything to you. Because what happens if you do the opposite? Let's say you praise your addictions. I say, I let go into my addiction. I let go into I let go of being so strict on myself. I let go and just be addicted. I let go and just get loose and get addicted. What happens? Truly, what happens? You get even more addicted, you see? So for the people that are addicted, I would say only surrender to God. Don't surrender to your addictions. Don't. Okay? It will only make it worse. Because what you want more in your life is not more addiction. What you want in your life, okay, is to be free. As one time someone said, asked, what would you do if it was your last day? And they said everything that was addictive. They said I would eat all day long. I would go crazy. I would be free, right? Be a free person, do whatever I want. And that's not freedom. Freedom is surrendering to love, surrendering to God. Not doing what you want, because your wanting and desire is for happiness. All the things that you want is to become more happy. But if you surrender to God, you become happy. So you're no longer moving from this desperate place. You get into your own abundance. You see? That's the difference. So if I surrender to God, I feel abundant, I feel free, I feel happy now. I don't have to seek it through some action, right? Like that guy that said, I'm going to eat everything, I'm going to do whatever, I'm just going to be free. But if you truly surrender, to God, you don't need to do all that to be free, to be happy. You realize, I'm free, happy now because I surrendered. And that joy becomes so great that it can overcome addictions, that it can overcome compulsive patterns, because you're surrendering to consciousness. So you become more conscious by surrendering to consciousness. You don't become more compulsive and impulsive. You become more free, meaning free from your impulses, free from your compulsiveness, more and more. Less in shame patterns, less in addictive patterns. And this is why, for a lot of people, Christianity helped them. And I truly believe for some people the Christian path is actually the right path, because spiritual path is a very responsible path to take. Means it takes more responsibility to walk a spiritual path than to walk a path of Christianity. Christianity, you can conform more towards what happens and you start to see great results in your life. But when you go the spiritual path, what happens is sometimes you want to be free too much. So you're like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. And that's when a lot of problems come. So don't surrender to your addiction, surrender towards God. And what it has done for me is doing this every day, surrendering to God, surrendering to the universe, life, Allah. I don't care what you name it, right? For me, it's just the universe, God, consciousness. When I surrender to that every day, I notice greater joy, greater bliss, greater happiness, and more direction as well. You're more intuitive. You get to understand where you're meant to go, what you're meant to do, more and more. It's less confusion. You're more clear. There's more clarity, because the clarity doesn't come from you, it comes from the higher power. And because you surrender to the higher power, that comes through, that channels through to you. So it's easier to receive whatever guidance that wants to come true. That's what letting go means for me. And that's where I will end this video at. I hope this really helps you. I hope you take seriously what I said here. There's a really key distinction between the two. Between surrendering and letting yourself be towards your ego, your addictions, your negative patterns, or truly letting go towards something higher, a higher power, and being free in that. If you like this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.